Today we're going to be working on a realistic eye drawing using pencil. To begin, we will use 3 different types of pencil. One that's light, one that's medium, and one that's dark. Please notice that there are letters on each of the pencils. The light will be either 3H or H, the medium will be HBB or 2B, and the dark will be 6B. First, I'd like you to find your pencil that has 3H or H on it. And I want you to practice drawing a firm line with that pencil. And then I want you to hold your pencil sideways and practice shading with that pencil sideways. When you're shading with it, I want you to kind of press gently on the very edge of your pencil. Okay, now it's time to get a medium pencil out. So this is either the HB, or 2B pencil. Again, I want you to press firmly, and then I want you to tilt it sideways and shade with it very gently. Fun fact, the number 2 pencils that are in your classroom are the HB medium type pencils. Now for your 6B or your darkest pencil, pull that out and see how dark that is by pressing firmly, and then also try shading with it on its side. All right, also pull out your mirror and you'll use this to look at your own eye. Okay, to begin with, lay your paper in a horizontal alignment, and you're going to use first your lightest pencil, so your 3H or H pencil. And you want to use the whole page. You want to get an arch, the top arch of your eye down on the paper. Next, you're going to want to lay your canning jar circle down just to kind of get a feel for how wide your eye needs to be. And you'll want to draw the bottom arch of your eye as well. Notice also on the far right side there's kind of a curved area where the tear duct will be. At the point where the tear duct meets the top of the eye arch, you're going to go up just a little bit from there, and you're going to draw a lid line. Then you're going to do something similar, but only about halfway at the bottom to represent the crease under your eye. Next, you're going to actually draw in the tear duct line on the interior part of your eye. Now you're going to draw a line that's parallel to the top eyelid line. This is kind of the space where your eyelashes come out from. And then you're going to take it and stop about at the tear duct. Then you're going to do the same for the bottom part of the eye. Again, a parallel line that runs along the bottom eye arch. And this will be where your eyelashes on the bottom will come out from. And here's an up close in case you need to see those a little bit more clearly, because I am trying to press very gently when I'm drawing. All right, it's time to add the colored part of the eye called the iris. You're going to use your canning jar lid, and you want to set it slightly above the lid of the eye. Once you have it in a position that you're happy with, go ahead and take your pencil and lightly trace around the outside portion of the canning jar lid. Now it's time to draw the inside black dot. So grab your measuring cup, and you can choose either the wider circle at the top or the smaller circle at the bottom. I'll show you what each kind of looks like. Again, you're using your lightest colored pencil, and you're going to place it in the center of the iris, and you're going to draw in a pupil. Kind of feel like mine was a little bit too big, so I went back and erased it and chose the smaller circle. Next, you're going to need to add a little highlight bubble in your eye. So choose a space on your pupil and add a little square or rectangle, and then erase the inside portion. Now that's pretty much the base of your eye. At this point, you're going to take your lightest pencil, the 3H, and you're going to trace firmly the lines that you drew for your eye, so that way you can see them and work with it a lot easier than when it was super light. So go ahead and complete going over every single line on your paper with your lightest pencil and press firmly. Now I'd like you to turn your pencil sideways, and I want you to color in your iris very gently. So this is a light pressure situation. You're going to color in the colored section of your eye. Make sure not to color into the highlight bubble area. Okay, this next instruction, you're still using your lightest colored pencil, and you're still going to turn it sideways, and we're going to add some shading into other areas of the eye, such as under the crease of the top part of the eye. Watch where I'm putting it, and again, it's very light, and then I'm going to add some in to the tear duct area of the eye. Again, it's very light, and then I'm going to add some to the bottom crease of the eye. Now we're going to add some color to the pupil of the eye. Notice I'm going to use my scrap paper to protect my paper from my hand and to protect my hand so I don't smudge anything. So go ahead and gently color in the inside portion of the pupil of the eye. One more area to add shading wise, again, it's your lightest color pencil, and you're doing a side to side motion is the bottom left of the eye. All right, get out a scratch piece of paper, please, and draw a circle just like I have on it. And then I want you to practice drawing some lines that radiate out from the circle. Notice some of the lines are longer than others, and some are shorter than others. They're not all the same size. Kind of looks like a sun. Now that we're done practicing on our scratch sheet of paper, it's time to do it on your actual eye. Now, think of that circle as the pupil, and you're going to be drawing some long lines and some short lines off, radiating from the pupil. Don't forget to skip over the highlight bubble area. And then you're going to do this all the way around, lightly, all the way around your pupil area of your eye. Go ahead and feel free to turn your paper and use your scratch piece of paper so that you protect your work that you've already worked so hard on. And now you're going to do the outside part of your iris, drawing lines that radiate in towards your pupil. Again, grab your scratch sheet of paper and practice this method before you do it on your actual page. Remember to press gently and to use varying types of lines, whether they're long or short. And remember to always make sure that they're radiating in towards the pupil. Remember, you can turn your paper. And remember to use your scratch piece of paper to protect your picture from your hand. Notice I haven't done anything yet with the area directly under the lid. As you think about the area directly under the lid, realize that you wouldn't see many of those lines because they're covered up by the eyelid. So you might add a few, but you don't need to add very much. But what you are going to add is you're going to shade directly under the lid with that lightest colored pencil, just that one area where it falls under the lid. Now we're going to switch to the medium pencil. And for me, this is the HB pencil, but it could be HBB or 2B for you. This is the medium Using the pencil. Medium pencil, you're going to go back over every major line that you have drawn on this paper, like the crease line, the upper eye, the upper eyelid parallel line. Additionally, the bottom arch line for the eye, as well as the parallel line that goes with that. Also, you're going to draw in the lower crease line as well. Remember to use your scratch piece to protect your paper and also turn the paper to help you in the process. Next, you're going to add some shading in, so turn that medium pencil sideways and shade in some of the areas that you have had shading in the past, like above the crease line and then also below the lid with the crease line in both the lower right section and the lower left section. And don't forget to add some more shading inside the tear duct area as well. Next, you will need to color in the inside pupil even more than it's currently colored in. Remember to outline the outside of the pupil, and then the highlight bubble make sure to keep the highlight bubble free of any pencil. And then just press hard and color in the pupil. Again, we are still using the medium pencil, and you're going to press firmly around the outside of the iris. Again, use your paper to protect your scrap paper to protect your artwork, and then also remember you can turn your paper to help you in the process. And then finally, press very firmly as you darken the line directly under the lid on that iris section. Now, still using the medium pencil, you're going to add some lines in radiating out from the pupil, just like we did before. So remember to avoid the highlight bubble and use varying lengths of lines, some long, some short. Doesn't have to be in the exact same spot as your lighter pencil lines. Add some variation, but make sure that you are protecting your paper with your scratch paper, as well as turning your paper so that you make sure those lines are radiating in the correct direction. Okay, now just like before, again, using the medium pencil this time, we're going to work on those iris lines that radiate inward towards the pupil. So remember varying lengths of lines. Remember to protect your paper with your scratch piece of paper, and turn your page so that way you can keep your lines radiating in the correct direction. And again, you're pressing firmly, and you don't have to put the lines in the exact same place as the lighter pencil lines. Just continue all the way around the iris, and remember that to not do the area right directly under the lid. We will go over that in a moment. Now, the area directly under the lid, just every so often put a dark small line. Now, using the side of your pencil, very gently shade in the iris, very gently. Okay, now we're moving on to a new pencil. We're going to get out the 6B, the boldest, the darkest of the pencils. So grab that pencil now, please. Pressing very firmly, I want you to outline the pupil and make sure not to get into the highlight bubble area. I want you to color in very firmly the pupil. Next, with the dark pencil, I want you to very firmly press and trace the line around the iris. Remember to use your scrap piece of paper to protect your artwork, as well as don't forget to turn the page of your artwork so that you can get a better line. Next, I would like you to press firmly and darken the line directly under the eyelid that crosses over the iris. Next, finish darkening the whole upper eyelid line. Now go ahead and turn your pencil sideways. Again, it's the dark pencil, and add in some dark shading. Again, you're pressing lightly under the crease above the eye and the creases below the eye, and don't forget in the tear duct area and the left portion of the eye. Next, it's time to work on the radiating lines that come out from the pupil. Remember to use your scrap piece of paper and use varying lengths of lines, and remember to turn your page, and remember that you don't need to put it in the exact spot as the lighter and the medium pencils below it. Remember to turn your page so that your lines go in the correct direction. They're radiating out like the sun. Now it's time to work on the lines that radiate inward from the outline of the iris. Again, remember to press hard, use varying lengths of lines. You don't need to completely go over the light and the medium lines that are below it. Remember to turn your page, and remember to protect your paper using your scratch paper. Remember to not go into the section directly under the eyelid. And most importantly, make sure those lines are going in the correct direction towards the pupil. Now I'd like you to get out your smudging tool. Don't forget to check your smudging tool for any other colors that might be on it, because you don't want to get that onto your paper. And you're going to use your scrap paper again to protect your paper, and you're going to smudge in towards your pupil from the outside edge of your iris. And you're going to do that all the way around the outside of your iris, smudging inward. Then you're going to start smudging outward from the outside portion of the pupil along those radiating lines and smudge out. Now take your smudging tool and smudge along the upper line of the eye and also the lower line of the eye. Next, smudge inside the tear duct area as well. Now you want to work on the whites of the eye. Pull in some of the residue from those pencil marks using the smudging tool into the whites of the eyes on both sides as well, using a curving sort of motion with the smudging tool. All right, now it's time to smudge the shading above the eye. Again, you're pulling the residue of the pencil into some of the white space in the paper. So smudge the shaded area. You can kind of soften some of the hard lines that you've got using the smudging tool. And then do the same for the bottom of the eye. Again, you're not completely covering up all the white space. This is just, you're softening some of the hard lines using the smudging tool. All right, now we're going to be using the medium pencil again. So for me, that's the HB. For you, it might be the B or the 2B. So go ahead and grab that pencil, please. All right, now we're going to practice making eyelashes. So I want you to make those parallel lines kind of in the shape of the top arch of the eye on your scratch piece of paper. Now I want you to practice from the middle section of those two parallel lines, flicking your wrist in a curving motion up and out, and then switching directions. Now I'd like you to, at the base of each of these two, start an opposing line that's curved. It kind of makes an upside down Y or an X or kind of a teepee-like looking shape at the bottom of the eyelash bed. When you're satisfied with your practice, now it's time to do it on the real piece of artwork. Again, you're using your medium pencil and you're just using light strokes. You will not want to erase at this point because you've already got so much of your eye done already. So go ahead and position your paper so that you won't have any smudges. You can protect your artwork. And then starting in the middle of that lid line, you're going to flick your wrist up and out, curve the line, and then remember to switch directions when you get to a certain portion of the eyelid. And then you're going to do the opposing curved line at the base, just like you practiced as well. Once you're done with your top eyelid, then you need to add the bottom eyelashes using the same methodology. Again, start from that middle bed of that lid line at the bottom and flick your wrist, and remember to change directions when you need to, and then add that opposing curved line at the base. And now it's time to switch pencils again. Grab the 6B, the most dark pencil that you have, and put in some really dark eyelashes using the 6B pencil. I forgot to film myself actually demonstrating adding in the 6B, the darker pencil, but it's the same methodology we used with the medium pencils. As you can see, I chose a different location for the darker eyelashes than the medium eyelashes. And now at this point, I'm taking my darkest pencil and just adding in some very dark, hard lines along the crease and some of the places where I forgot to do the dark pencil line, like the bottom of the eye and the just all the major lines. Anywhere I want it to be a little bit darker. This is kind of your opportunity to add back in the darkest dark that might have gotten smudged away when you used the smudging tool. And then if it ever becomes too dark, you can always use the smudging tool again to soften the line a bit. But this is your chance to kind of clean up your paper and add back in the really dark darks. Just work in using the smudging tool again if there's some softening of lines that you want to do after adding in those dark darks. So have fun with it. You might notice that I'm choosing to smudge into some of the areas that maybe I thought there's too much white space and I wanted to give it a little more depth. When you're done with your project, you may decide you might want to mount it on a black piece of construction paper. Either way, don't forget to put your name on the back and your teacher.